course.
All right, thank you. So yeah, it's great to meet everybody. My name is Mauricio. I'll be talking about a system that we have for automatically proving lots of geometry theorems. This is work that I did with lots of people: Fabian Zeiser, Cameron Freer, Katie Collins, Josh, and Vikash. So to get started, I wanted to look at the library of Euclidean geometry that is in Lean right now. Freek Wiedijk has a list of 100 theorems, and he catalogs how much progress different theorem-proving languages have made on formalizing these 100 theorems. Lean has 82 that have been formalized, which is on the higher side. But if we look at the 18 that haven't been proved, 5 of them are just Euclidean algebra, which is kind of surprising to me because these are theorems that don't really involve much sophisticated analysis or algebra or topology or probability. It's, these are just kind of geometry theorems that like a precocious middle schooler or high schooler would be familiar with. So other people have looked into the deficiencies that Lean has in Euclidean geometry. So there's these 2 papers, Lean Geo and Lean Euclid, that have made repositories that formalize synthetic Euclidean geometry using Jeremy Avigad's system E. But these axiomatic constructions actually make it more difficult to port into MATLAB. So what we want to do is kind of propose a more algebraic approach that hopefully is complementary to what they did and can be more portable to MATLAB. Okay, so the key contributions that I'm making today are we're demonstrating that algebraic automation can be useful for classical geometry theorem proving. We identify an unsound theorem in an educational theorem proving tool that we found in the process of formalizing a library of geometry theorems. We reduce the complexity of manual proofs to one-line proofs. And then I'll say a couple things about what it might look like to make MATLAB more amenable to grind, and then I'll highlight some limitations and future research directions. Okay, so the idea of converting geometry theorems into algebra goes something like this. You're going to define some geometric primitives using coordinates and polynomial constraints. So all of your predicates involving collinearity or perpendicularity, you can express these as just polynomial constraints on coordinates of points. You're going to unfold those definitions to obtain a system of polynomial equations, and then you can use algebraic solvers like Grobner basis methods to do theorem proving there. And so this reduces geometric reasoning to algebraic computation. Geometric reasoning can be more complicated. And on the other hand, for algebraic computation, there's a lot of like work that's already gone into studying this and trying to solve this. Right, and this idea is not new. There is software that has done this in the past. So 2 that I'll mention are JGEX and GeoGebra. JGEX is, for instance, where a lot of the definitions for alpha geometry are pulled from. And this is an automated geometry theorem prover where there's a user interface, a user puts in a geometry theorem, and then JGEX uses a suite of theorem prover, of automated theorem provers to try to prove the theorem. But these tools are not formally verified, and you can get unexpected results. So, yep.
I don't know the details at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know the details, but I heard somewhere that GeoGebra now has some interface with an IT, like a formal verifier or something, but you're not aware of it. Then I must have been hallucinating. Okay.
No, I'm not familiar. I'm mostly focused on JGEX. I saw on the internet that GeoGebra has a WOOS method module, which is like Grobner basis. But that's the extent to which I looked at GeoGebra. Maybe they have more formally verified things now. But okay, so here's the unsound theorem that we have in JGEX. So what I'm showing you here is the user interface that JGEX gives you. On the left is some facts about the theorem, and on the right is a visualization of it. Okay, so I'll walk through it. So the conclusion of the theorem is saying that this angle CDCB is equal to FE FG. Okay, JGEX concludes that the theorem is true, but it's actually obviously not true, right? Because we have these 2 points that are overlapping, CD and right, CD. And so DCB is this degenerate angle, and JJX is telling us that it's equal to EFG, which is not true, right? So there's a problem here with how the predicate that gives you equality of angles is defined, and in particular, it's not transitive. So that's why you get things like this. Okay, so here's what it looks like to do this in Lean. On the left, I have the predicate for collinearity, and the way it's defined is just using this dot product thing. And on the right, I have the predicate for rotation, and that's defined using this matrix multiplication thing. So I have these simp tags above the theorem that are going to tell the Lean elaborator how to unfold these theorems, or how to unfold these predicates so that you have something purely algebraic, something purely polynomial at the end of the elaboration. And these theorems are going to get, or these definitions are going to get unfolded when you apply the simp tactic. Okay, so then here's what a tactic that I created called algebraic Euclid does. It takes a geometric statement, right? It applies simp so that everything gets unfolded into just purely polynomials. And then I take grind, and then grind is able to prove it. So for example, the theorem that's being proved here is the converse of the Pythagorean theorem, right? It's just kind of satisfying to see. Here's something that's more involved. This is Papst's theorem. This is not in MATLAB. This has, a lot of variables. This has this negation even. And surprisingly, grind is still able to deal with all of these things, right? Despite it being kind of a large space. This is what the elaboration looks like. Something, very large that hopefully a human would never have to deal with. But it's purely polynomial, and you can just throw the grind tactic at this, and it'll actually solve it. And we have 100 theorems that we've proven with one line in just this way. One reason that I think that MATLAB has a small Euclidean geometry library, and this is speculation, I'm not actually sure, I haven't talked to the people who did Euclidean geometry in MATLAB, is it's very cumbersome, and without some sort of automation, a lot of the work that you're doing is you're manually rewriting a lot of these algebraic steps. Okay? So here's what that looks like. So here is the theorem that says that the sum of 3 angles in a triangle equals 180 degrees. And I'll point out 2 things. The first is it's very algebraic, right? It's very algebraic in nature. So you see these instances of add a soc, add com, angle com. And the rewriting here is very tedious and very cumbersome. I mean, it must be incredibly frustrating to have to go through all of these steps, right? And then here's what it looks like for Stewart's theorem. And again, the same pattern holds, where lots of rewriting and also like very algebraic. Here's what it looks like with our method, right? So we have some non-degeneracy conditions so that you can define angles, and you take the sum, and there's a one-line proof, right? Here's Stewart's theorem. Again, it's just the statement, and there's a one-line proof because the automation deals with all of it. Yep.
So when you do the angles on the previous slide,
Yeah.
Is that the same angle as MATLAB? Like, are you doing a special case of MATLAB's setup?
No, the angles that we're doing are a little bit different.
Okay. Right.
And
you define your own concepts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's different in a way that's not that unorthodox. MATLAB has 2 angles, has unoriented and oriented. What we're doing is more aligned with oriented. Okay. Another thing that MATLAB does is it defines angles using radians. So you can get the sine and cosine of an angle, right? And then you pass this into like an arctangent or something, and you get a radian. We don't do that, right? And the reason that we don't do that is because when you do this arctangent thing, it makes it not amenable to being proved with polynomial solvers. right? So if you just define angles using unit vectors, then it keeps things a little bit nicer. Sorry? What is the definition? It's basically unit vectors, but with like some quotient condition, so that you don't have to worry about the norm, because the norm can we talk about this? Yeah, okay, after, okay. Yeah, but basically imagine angles are just defined by unit vectors, but there's some messing around that you have to do so that the norm never ends up as like the denominator of yeah, so that the norm never ends up as the denominator, because as soon as you have a denominator, grind is gonna get upset. Okay. Okay. So like I was saying, certain angles or certain definitions in MATLAB are kind of adverse to polynomial solving. For instance, angles are defined with radians. And definitions also need to be explicitly told how they're going to unfold so that you can get this elaborated thing that's entirely polynomial. So I think that the way to deal with this is to make some targeted definitions to grind, and maybe throw some, or sorry, make some targeted changes to definitions to make the grind polynomial solver module easier to use here. So there are lots of cases where it actually fails. So for instance, Grobner basis can't handle statements that involve existential quantifiers. Statements that rely on ordering over the real numbers can't be solved using purely algebraic methods. So you can imagine that there are lots of theorems that involve using the fact that x squared is greater than or equal to 0, but grind is not actually able to prove that because it involves this ordering property. Grobner basis can be very computationally complex, right? It's something that's doubly exponential in the number of variables. Yeah, but it ends up working pretty well in practice. And it's also very annoying to diagnose grind failures. When grind fails, it's very hard to tell if it failed because there were too many variables, if there were missing ordering conditions that the theorem needed, or if you were missing some non-degeneracy conditions. But there are some potential workarounds. So what I've seen is that if you throw some @grind tags to some theorems that involve ordering properties, you can kind of navigate around that using the grind pattern matching module instead of the polynomial solver. For complexity, you can reduce the number of variables by fixing a coordinate system, and most of the time you can do this without loss of generality. Or not most of the time, but fairly often you can do this without loss of generality. And for existential quantifiers, I've played around a little bit with myself. I come up with a witness for a theorem, and then algebraic Euclid will prove that the witness is correct. And this is something that seems to work fine, if maybe a little bit annoying to come up with the witness. So for future work, I consider myself mostly a machine learning person. So I'm interested in this idea of having a loop where you could have something that rapidly conjectures and verifies, right? So something that alternates between a language model automatically generating lemmas and subgoals and then grind proving them. People have thought about in the past using reinforcement learning with a language model to build up like mathematical libraries just by bootstrapping up. So I'm interested in seeing what this looks like for geometry. So yeah, so the main takeaways are that I think a tactic similar to algebraic Euclid or algebraic Euclid itself could be really useful for expanding MATLAB's Euclidean geometry library. I think with some targeted changes to the Euclidean geometry library right now, it could lend itself more easily to automatic proving. And I think that there are lots of exciting directions to take grind in Lean. Yeah, so thank you.